love you, baby. Ooh, and I love you, baby. Ooh, and I love you, baby. Ooh, and if you go, I'm going with you.
Yeah, one more time there. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. All right. Welcome. Thank you very much. I am David Wilson, Business Savage. Welcome to the pre-show of the SAVVEE Show. No nonsense market domination here on IBGR.Network. We are currently live in quite a few places. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitter. And we are live on Twitch for the pre-show. Again, the pre-show preparing for the live presentation of the show itself on IBGR, International Business Growth Radio, the International Growth Business Radio station 24/7, helping businesses no matter what stage they are in, from pre-startup to startup, growth to hockey stick growth, to nice and easy, everything's going really well, making money, reinvesting money, to, you know what, I just want to invest, I want to sell this thing and put it all into crypto. So it doesn't matter, you can do that. If that's what you want to do, no matter what stage of business you're in, come grow with us. Come grow with us, yes. Those of you who don't know, my name is David Wilson. You can call me Savvy. You can also call me, specifically here, the Business Savage. It's my government nickname, which is... And today's show, you're here for the pre-show, so you got the behind-the-scenes look at what goes on to set up the show at 3 o'clock. So we have about 13 minutes to live. 13 minutes to live. I want to thank all of my returning viewers here. So thank you. Appreciate it. As I say every show, you know, if it weren't for the viewers, we'd have a show, but it just wouldn't have any viewers. So we appreciate that, because he'd still do it. If you are new to the SAVVEE Show, welcome. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're gonna have some fun. You are in for. You're definitely gonna laugh at some point. If you probably laughed already. I hope so. Anyway, because if you haven't laughed already, then. But you will. Our topic. What is our topic? Oh, excuse me. In studio engineer is in the building. He helps me here at the station. In the studio with. What do you do? I mean, it's just. He does stuff. I'm just kidding. That's my man. SNY. We call him Steve Namin. You feel me? It's really his name. Full government. All right, today's show. It's called Savagely Obsessed with Productivity. Savagely Obsessed with Productivity. And this is about reimagining the theme of the station for season 5. This is season 5. The Future of Business Savagery, which is, you know, that's pretty cool, right? And the theme of this season, Future of Business Savagery, I guess the sub theme, the subheading is Reimagine You. So reimagine you, the entrepreneur, reimagine you, the business owner. That's the important thing. So everything we're talking about this season is designed to rethink kind of where we thought we were, what we thought we were doing, where we thought we might be, and reimagine it twist it, turn it, mold it, squeeze it, knead it, almond, knead it, and turn it into something else. Turn it into something else, and see what we get. So we're looking on this episode about productivity. For those of you, I mean, that wasn't just a random, when I said knead it, almond, like that wasn't just like out of the blue. So Almond's my cat, and she's gonna come up later on in the first segment. So you see how I did that? Listen, you're gonna find stuff like that throughout the show. It's all connected. It's all connected. That's just how we do it. Okay, that's just how we do it. So you're welcome in advance. Okay? This season, it's my pleasure to have sponsoring our shows the guys over at NutriChamps. NutriChamps is where I get my Savage nutrition. Go to NutriChamps.com. Get all my vitamins, minerals, supplements, cleanses, all from those guys. Go to www.nutrichamps.com. That's www. Or depending on where you're from, www.nutrichamps. Don't do that. I'm just kidding. That's an inside joke. But the people who get it. NutriChamps.com. Use my code TheSavage1, TheSavage number 1, and you'll get free stuff. You'll get some percentage off of your order, and you'll be able to get what you want. So you too can be nutritionally and healthfully savage. Indeed, yes. And you too can champion your life. All right, awesome. Got some folks out there. Thank you for the comments. We got representation on Facebook. We got representation on YouTube. We got representation on Twitter. Oh wow, and our Twitchers as well. So thank you very much. Tianya is there with the cool cat. She's probably saying I'm a cool cat. That's probably right. Or maybe that's Almond. All right, 6 minutes to live. Scrolling at the bottom is my personal landing page. We got to get to our tests, Steve. Personal landing page. And I do this all the time because I'm probably going to end up saying a lot of this like during the show. So I should probably just do my test. But allthingsdavidwilson.com. You can go there and find all my socials. You can find all my socials. Books, I'll just read it. Books, podcasts, programs, socials, companies, and a free networking checklist. And there's always there's more free stuff coming. We're revamping the website and making it look so fresh and so clean. So keep your eyes open. Let's do our test real quick. So we're going to test our sound. We're going to test our video. Give me a thumbs up. I got some hearts. I got some emotes. For those of you who don't know, emotes are exclusive to the Twitchers. So you guys are giving me, no one has said, hey, I can't hear you. So I assume you can hear me. No one has said, wow, you look real crazy because your video is messed up. So that didn't happen. So we're good there. So let me go ahead and test our sound downtown. If you're new here, if we go to avatar, obviously you can still hear me, but you cannot see me. When we go to our intro, when we go to intro, we're going to be at avatar, but you will be able to hear the introduction. All right, one moment, if you will, please. Yes, test. Check. Uh-huh. 6 minutes alive. Sound check. Check, check, check. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, da. That's a thing. It's professional warm up. Warming up the voice. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, is that right? Check, check, check. There we go. Check, check. All right. Sound check good. Downtown's connected. 5 minutes to live. All right. Seems like everything is good to go. If you can hear in the background, we have the 24/7 IBGR station playing. So we are always on the air. So it's important from a timing standpoint that I hear, because this is a radio station, but we're all remote, right? So we're all in our own studios. And so I have to keep my eyes and ears open on my timing. So I'm listening for my timing. I also have a timer that I'm looking at so I can come in at the right time. All right. We are about 3 minutes to live. 3 minutes to live. Make sure you're putting in the chat. I see what a lot of you guys are putting in. So thank you. So I appreciate that. But let me know if you have any questions during the show. I'll do my best to answer them. I stay pretty focused. I stay to a really tight, well-written. It's all spelled out beforehand. What? Well, yeah, I guess that's funny. So I listen. Look, I have my notes, and they're not the same ones from last week. But there's room. There's room for different comments and such. So, all right. We are 2.5 minutes to live. 2.5 minutes to live. Two and a half minutes to live. 2 minutes to live. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on and being with me today. And we're gonna have a great show. Feel good, nice and hydrated, all nutri-champed up. Got all my stuff. So there we go. All right, going to Avatar. Check.
IBGR focuses on the 180 million English-speaking small business owners around the world in 4 major markets: North America, Australia, Oceania, the Indian subcontinent, and United Kingdom, Europe, and Africa. All of these 6-hour cycles are delivered in 6 major themes: strategy, operations, sales, people, ownership, and consulting. The first 4 tracks strategy, operations, sales, and people on the day-to-day tactical issues all entrepreneurs face. The 5th track, ownership, takes the conversation to the next level.
Okay, so I can't count. Wait, no, that is right. Yeah, minute and a half to live. No, we're good. Minute and a half to live. Quick sound test. Okay, we're ready to go. Check. All right, we're good, Steve. Here we go. 1 minute to live. 1 minute.
Independent contractor, solopreneur, or business owner can apply immediately. All you have to do is download, listen, apply, and engage. Download the show notes that address current issues in your business. Listen to the show live or as a podcast. Apply the information and tools. Engage us with your experience and feedback. If you really want to maximize your time spent with IBGR, join our community and have access to our toolbox. This just scratches the surface of what you will receive every day at IBGR.
20 seconds.
The opportunity to grow with
Here
us
we go.
is only limited
Let's
by
have a good one.
dedication and persistence. Let's grow together and put the world back to work. Thanks for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the SAVVEE Show. You ready? Then say my name. SAVVEE. Let's go. Give it to me again. Give it to me again. Yes. All right. Welcome to the SAVVEE Show. I am David Wilson, the Business Savage, here on No Nonsense Market Domination on IBGR.Network. IBGR.Network Profit Radio by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. No matter what stage of business you are in, from pre-startup to startup, no revenue, just an idea. The growth to hockey stick growth, that's really, really, really big growth. To, oh, wow, this business is going really well. Everything's going great. To, you know what, I want to sell this and ride a unicycle up and down the East Coast in my retirement. Doesn't matter if you want to do that. That's cool. That works. Whatever your goals are, no matter what stage of business you're in, come grow with us. Yes, come grow with us. Yeah. It is my pleasure to be with you here today, 3 p.m. on the dot, coming to you live from the capital of the South, Richmond, Virginia, USA. As I mentioned, we are an internationally broadcast radio station, so not just here in Richmond, not just here in the United States, but all over the world. In fact, we are in over 80% of the world right now. 80% of the world right now we're being broadcast. So check us out. If you're listening on IBGR.Network, thank you. If you are watching, there's a live portion of the show on Facebook currently, on YouTube currently, on Twitter currently, and on Twitch currently. So thank you. Thank you. These are all the places that you can find IBGR, and you can find me, the Business Savage. Indeed, indeed. Thank you to our returning listeners and watchers, certainly, and to our new. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I apologize. I don't ever want you to think we are taking you for granted by not giving you your due applause. Thank you to our returning listeners. No, just kidding. Thank you to our returning listeners. I was just joking. Don't leave. Wait, don't leave. And if you're new to the show, welcome. You're gonna have a blast. You're gonna have a blast. I promise. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be educational, edutainment, as KRS would say. So that's what we're going to do. All right. The topic for today is productivity. So the title, Savagely Obsessed with Productivity. As we reimagine you, so you, the entrepreneur, you, the business owner, we're reimagining you, right? We're looking at the different facets of the business owner, the different facets of the business owner. We started at the beginning of season 5. This is season 5. We started at the beginning with health, mental health, physical health, brain, memory health, because I don't remember the other show. But we did a lot. It was a lot of different facets. Different facets that we covered in season 5. Let's see. Yeah, mindset, physical health, future vision. Anyway, I'm fired. Whatever. That's cool. You get what I'm saying, though. So today we're gonna be focusing on productivity. So we're kind of building a new you by touching these different facets, and we are going to talk about productivity today. And in a moment, we're going to cover the biggest myth about productivity. I know. The biggest myth about productivity. Before we do that, I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank the guys over at NutraChamps.com. That's NutraChamps.com. It's where I get all my Savage nutrition, vitamins, minerals, supplements, cleanses, all kinds of healthy stuff. Go to NutraChamps.com. You can use my code TheSavage1, THESAVAGE, the number 1. You can get a bunch of free stuff. You'll get something free. I don't know if it's like when I say a bunch of free stuff, people think, oh wait, I ordered and I ain't get a basket. No, it's just like some free stuff. Free is free, and you get a discount by using my code. And you too can hashtag champion your life. Hashtag champion your life. Also want to shout out Fund You Up business funding. Fund You Up helps small, mid-sized businesses and real estate investors get funding when traditional bank financing is not available. So usually there's a challenge in one of 3 areas: challenge with credit, challenge with collateral, or challenge with time, either time in business or time in which the funds are needed. It's very germane, not Jackson, but very germane to what we're talking about here on No Nonsense Market Domination, right? So if your company's in need of funding and you're an operating company, you can go to fundyouup.com and hit get pre-qualified now in the upper right corner. Yes. Also real excited to talk about my new, it's not an ebook. What is it? Audiobook, a new audiobook. And just look for that on allthingsdavidwilson.com soon. It's probably going to be this week. And just we're putting the finishing touches. Once we're done with that, we'll put it out lickety split. It's called Don't Crush the Almond. See, if you were at the pre-show, you would have known that I was going to mention almond during this segment, and I did. So it's called Don't Crush the Almond. Rousing round of applause for almond. It's a short story about goals. It's about goals. It's about achieving your goals. It's about the mindset of goal achievement, of success, brought to you by a furry little kitty. So check it out. So I promised you the biggest myth of productivity, and you hear it, and you hear it all the time, right? You hear it. We hear it all the time. It's like, oh my gosh, I am just so busy, right? Can you put right? I'm just so busy. And we've been conditioned. we've been conditioned that busy translates into successful. Busy translates into successful. And we're going to, so our savvy shift for today is going to be that, that's not true. So people who are busy are productive, right? No, it's not. That's not true. Not necessarily true. But I think the people who say that, and when we hear that, it's just like, oh, I'm just so busy. And the question we have to ask ourselves, and sometimes we say that, and just like I've spoken about my fitness journey, where I had to take inventory of what I was putting into my body, what food I was, what food, what gummy worms and whatnot I was putting into my body, and just be honest about that. We need to do the same thing with our time. We need to take an honest inventory of our time. And if we're so busy, what are we busy doing? This is going to funnel right down into productivity that we speak about later. And it's the myth of busy. What we really need to be focused on is our time. We all have the same amount of time. Just all things being equal, all things from midnight to 23:59. We all theoretically have that amount of time. Theoretically, it's what we do with that, how we use that time, that is going to make the difference, right? So we're going to explore that later on. The theme of the show, the theme of the show is going to be about time and how we use our time. We're going to talk about, and I think for this was new to me. This was new to me some time ago when someone introduced it to me, and I don't want to give it away, but it has to do with time, and it has to do with your wage, how much you charge for your time. So we will get back to that when we come back from the break. I am David Wilson. No, really, I'm still here. We're coming back from the break. We'll see you on the other side. SAVVEE. No, really, I'm still here. All right, good set there. That wasn't too bad. Not too bad. Thank you for the comments. Got a lot of love for Almond. We appreciate that. She appreciates it, I'm sure. All right. Next segment's going to be a big one. We are having just a bit of a challenge with our music. It's not quite a challenge, just a sounds fine, I know, but just want to fix something real quick. So while you guys make sure you subscribe to the podcast. So every radio show gets turned into a podcast. So if you go to podcast.co or wherever you get your podcasts, you can go to All Things David Wilson. There's a link there, and you can just search for David Wilson, Business Savage, No Nonsense Market Domination, and you can subscribe there. One moment, if you would please. Will be 2 minutes. No, minute and a half. Back to live. Minute and a half to live. Just want to fix something real All right. Got about 30 seconds to live. 30 seconds to live. Segment 2. Here we go. All right. Welcome back. No Nonsense Market Domination, SAVVEE Show. I am David Wilson, the Business Savage. And we are here in season 5, the future of business savagery. The theme of IBGR this season is reimagine your business. Reimagine your business. The theme on the SAVVEE Show this season is reimagine you. So reimagine you. So you are the entrepreneur. You are the business owner. So we are looking at different ways of making you better. Different ways of making you better. On today's episode, we are savagely obsessed with productivity. Savagely obsessed with productivity. Okay, let's dive right in. One moment. Check. Give me 1 second, guys. We lost our connection. Check. Hello. All right. We are back in business, I believe. If I can get a heads up from downtown, but we are back in business, but I think we are good to go at this point. Perfect. All right. It's live, guys. What can I tell you? All right. So what was I saying? That was not very productive. Is what I was saying. That is not a good use of time. Okay. Being disconnected from air is not a good use of time. Okay. So the value of time. Let's just jump right back in. That's okay. We'll splice it back together. Be like nothing ever happened. So no big deal. How much is your time worth? So when you start to take a look at your actual time and what you are using your time for, what you're doing with your time, you might be surprised. You might be surprised because you finish up after your however many hours you put in, right? And it's like, oh my God, I was so busy today. But busy doing what? And sometimes we get that feeling that I've been so busy, but I really didn't get anything done. If you can relate to that, let me hear you stand up and applaud. Right? I can hear you. See, it's good. Wow. And when we get towards in the second half of the show, we're going to get to some tools that you can use to help make this process better. So the first thing we have to identify is what we're doing with our time. What are we doing with our time? Now that we have identified that, we can change it. So we can change it. Yes, it is. The comment comes in from YouTube. The worst feeling ever is being busy and then realizing you got nothing done. So thank you for that comment. But you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. So like I said, similar to a fitness journey, weight loss journey, this is a business journey and or a productivity journey, and we have to figure that out by being honest about what we're doing with our time. Once we do that, then we need to figure out, well, how much is my time worth? Right. So once we attach a monetary value to our time, does it matter how much it is? It kind of does. It kind of does matter. And how much our time is worth is, I think, directly connected to how much what we think of ourselves, what we think of our business, and how we value, therefore, and eventually how we value our time. So, for example, let's say my time is worth $5 an hour. Okay, let's say I were to say that. My mindset is going to be worth $5 an hour. Okay, so I'm going to think like a business owner who should be making $10,000 a year working 40 hours a week, right? So five by 2,000 hours, roughly 10 grand. There's nothing wrong with wanting that if that's what you want. I would challenge, though, that you don't need to start a business to get that. You can have a lot less stress and a lot less heartache and a lot less risk by just getting a job. That's okay to get a job, but I think that you'd just be better off. So we need to be thinking much bigger than that. One of my, I guess it's a question affirmation. What would a CEO be doing right now? What would a managing principal be doing right now? What would an entrepreneur be doing right now no matter what I'm doing? Or turn it around, would an entrepreneur, would a business owner, would a CEO be doing this? Now, I hear what some of you might be saying. Now, listen, Savvy. We don't all have the ability to not do certain things. That I get that. And this happens, I think, in every stage of a business, where we end up doing things that we might be a little bit beneath our pay grade, if you will, or beneath our skill grade even. So, you can learn HTML to develop your own website, or you can pay someone who knows HTML to develop your website. Now, again, I know what you're thinking. Well, I don't have enough revenue to pay someone. Okay, there's going to be times where you're going to have to do what you got to do. But if you understand this concept of how much is your time worth, the rest of the show will make sense to you, and you just build into that mindset. Sometimes we just got to do what we got to do. So we're gonna attach a number. The number we're gonna use is $100. So that's $100. Right? but $100. That's how we used to say it up in where I'm from, and I'm not going to tell you where. So my time is worth $100 an hour. And we should always be focusing on what right now is the greatest use of my time. What actions should I be taking to make the greatest use of that time? So remember that. We're going to be savvy shifting this whole show. What should I be doing that is the greatest use of my time? That's going to get me that $100 an hour. Once we identify that, we can figure out if it's whatever's not on that list, we need to take a strong, hard look at. And if we can outsource, delegate these tasks to others who are experts at those tasks, for example, then we should do that. So rule of thumb. And listen, this is not a knock on economics. This is economic status. This is nothing like that. This is simply about skill set. This is simply about greatest and best use of time. So if we're doing a job that is lower than what our time is worth per hour, we should strongly consider outsourcing. Strongly consider it. All right. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to get into that greatest and best use of time. We're going to introduce the quadrant system. So some of you may be aware of that quadrant system. A guy by the name of Stephen Covey made it famous. So we're going to dive into that. And this is going to help us be more productive using the tools that we just talked about. So we'll come back in just a moment from commercial. We'll see you on the other side. SAVVEE. All right.
Just a moment from commercial. We'll see you on the other side.
Good set there. Not too bad. So these quadrants are pretty cool, and really changed my life once I realized how much of an impact it kind of had on my life. And once I really understood just kind of where my time was, and that's very important. Very important. All right. Well, someone just asked, should we get a pen and paper for this part? Yes, that would be good. Pen and paper, and you can certainly write this down. I'm going to post something for you guys, just kind of a graphic highlighting, detailing this. I don't think it's in the show notes this week that you have, but I'll put it to you. Just go to allthingsdavidwilson.com and make sure you stay connected with me, and you'll get all this stuff if you just get on our mailing list there, and we'll get it out to you. This is important. This is the key to the shift, really. Now that we know how much our time is worth, we are going to focus on the tasks that keep us moving toward our greatest use of that time. All right, 30 seconds to live. 30 seconds to live. Check. Yeah, we lost audio there. I'm not sure what happened. Am I? I don't know what happened, man. Okay, 15 to live. All right. Welcome back to the Savvy Show. I am David Wilson, Business Savage, here on No Nonsense Market Domination on IBGR.Network. Profit Radio, no matter what stage of business you are in, from pre-startup to startup, growth to hockey stick growth, to nice and easy, business is running well, to, man, I don't know what I want to do, but it's time to sell this thing. We can help you. We can help you. No matter what stage of business you're in, we are by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. Come grow with us. Hey, come grow with us. As a doublet for emphasis. So anytime you want to emphasize something, you say it the one time, and then you come back and you say, you get come grow, and you get like closer, and people will say, okay, now that's really important. That's really important. All right, let's jump in. Stop messing around here. Savagely obsessed with productivity, because we have to be productive. Productivity, efficiency, kind of the same thing, right? So they're related. But we want to talk about a cat by the name of not Almond, but a cat by the name of Stephen Covey. So Stephen Covey, in the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, has this quadrant system. 4 quadrants. No, I got this funny look from Steve. It was like there's 4 quadrants, and he's like, no kidding, there's 4 quadrants because they're quadrants, right? Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2 is another breakthrough. Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, and Quadrant 4. And what we're going to talk about. So grab a piece of paper. We're going to post this later on All Things David Wilson, or maybe on, as well as on our, maybe we'll throw it up on the landing page on IBGR as well. But let me tell you, so you're going to draw a quadrant. So just a line down the middle of the paper vertically, and then a line across the middle of the paper horizontally. And in the top right box, you're going to put a Roman numeral 1. In the top left box, Roman numeral 2. There's different variations of this. I don't think it matters where you put the numbers, as long as you understand what the numbers mean. Or that, I think that's true. So wait, and no, I think it does matter. In the because that's so in the lower right box, put a Roman numeral 3, and in the lower left box, put a Roman numeral 4. Yeah, that'll work. So in quadrant 1, just write urgent and important. So in quadrant 1, let me do this a different way. So go ahead and write that. Let's keep doing it like this. That'll work. So quadrant 1, urgent and important. And understand that we all are going to have things that fall in quadrant 1. Okay? We're all going to have things that fall into quadrant 1. There's going to be times when Junior hits his head on the pole on the playground, and you just have to go get him from school. And that's just going to happen, right? Quadrant 1, something that's urgent and something that is important. Now go down to quadrant 3, which is urgent and not important. Okay, just leave that for a second. Quadrant 4 is neither urgent nor important. So non-urgent, non-important. In quadrant 4, enjoyment, leisure stuff. It's not urgent, it's not important. There's a big debate about quadrant 4 and quadrant 3 and their similarities and differences. We'll get into that in a second. The magic, and I want you to write the word magic in quadrant 2, because this is where you make your money. This is the best use of your time as a business owner. Not urgent, but important. All right, so you got all that down? So that's okay. Yeah, I guess the applause was for getting it all down. Right. So all right, so let's talk about these. So in quadrant 2, that is where you should be focusing. You want to be focusing most of your time in quadrant 2. So quadrant 1 is a given. Quadrant 1 is going to happen. It's not avoidable, right? It's not constant, but you will always have challenges, client calls, and there's an emergency. School calls, there's an emergency. Home calls, there's an emergency. That's quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is your money. Now let's talk about 3 and 4. So 3, I'm telling you that 3 is the drain. 3 is the drain. So 3 is urgent but not important. So you're going about your business day and you realize, oh my goodness, I forgot that the Froyo joint, the coupon expires for my Froyo, that's frozen yogurt, right? And the closest one is 30 miles away, and I have to use it today, so I'm going to drive 30 miles to go have Froyo in the middle of a business day. Is that urgent? Yes, it's urgent because the coupon expires today. Is it important? Did you catch that? That was doublet laughter. No, it's not important. No, it's not important. It's not. I don't care what you say, it's not. So when we're taking inventory of our time, we should take special notice of what things we are doing and how we're classifying them, right? Where as they fall into quadrant 3. So I have to do this now. And a lot of times it's a stall. You know, it's a stall. So I've had like a handful of jobs in my day and a handful of sales managers in my day. And you know, there was a lady I worked with at one of those companies, and we were all in the conference room making sales calls. We were prospecting, LinkedIn, stuff like that. So we were doing those things. And you know, she pulls out her computer and she had a mat for the computer. So she threw the mat down, and you know, because you have to protect the computer. And then she turned the computer on, and she immediately started to download an update. So a manager says, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, well, I have to download an update." You know, well, I can't use my computer. I can't make proper sales calls and then do proper research if I don't download my. Now, that is a perfect example of quadrant 3. That's not important right now. And listen, don't write me tech guys talking about, well, the vulnerabilities of that. I get that. Okay. That's not, just pretend that doesn't exist. Okay. Let's pretend the computer was fine. And had she not known to look, this was not okay, let's say it wasn't a critical update. Okay. It wasn't, how about that? It wasn't a critical update. It was just a regular update, non-critical. So she's downloading a non-critical update that she deems to be important, and it's not. She deems to be urgent, right? And it's deems to be important, but it's not. Deems to be urgent, and it's not. Right? And we have to explore that being a stall, keeping us from doing something that we're afraid to do. So pay attention to that as you're evaluating your tasks, and just be honest with yourself. A lot of people say that, so Quadrant 3 is the quadrant we need to really stay out of as much as possible. A lot of stuff in Quadrant 3 can be delegated. People say, though, that Quadrant 4, if it's not urgent and it's not important, we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that either. I'll say this: if it's not urgent and not important, we shouldn't be doing it during the time that we, in place of our work, our greatest and best use of time. But Quadrant 4 is very important. Leisure time is very important. Rest time or time off is very important. And some people say that it's irresponsible to be in Quadrant 4 or 3. I say it's only irresponsible to be in Quadrant 4 if you're not intentionally being in Quadrant 4. So if you're on vacation, and then you have the argument, oh, well, that's important though. That's urgent. That's not urgent, but that's important. So, there's different ways to kind of explore this stuff, right? And that's the beauty of information, because there's debate. There's debate. And we're all open to feedback and debate, and that's what makes us so. You have your opinion, I have my opinion. My opinion is right, and that's the way it is. Okay, so we'll go back. Just kidding. When we come back from the break, we're going to finish up, and we're going to talk about push-ups, and we're going to talk about how the best way to get all this stuff done. SAVVEE. All right. All right. Good stuff. So, question came in: is walking on a lunch break Quadrant 4? See, that's the debate. Is walking during a lunch break Quadrant 4? Why are you walking? Are you walking to clear your head? Are you walking to step away from a screen? You could make the strong argument that walking on a lunch break is Quadrant 2. You could even, depending on the situation, could be Quadrant 1. It depends. When this stuff was created, there were no computers. It was, when you're dealing with stress, I think stress, being under too much stress is urgent, and that's not somewhere we want to be. So I think that's a great question. The key is, if you understand what the quadrants mean and you understand your own personal intent, right? What are you intending from walking during a lunch break? So do you have to eat lunch? Gordon Gekko says no, but most people say yes. And that's the beauty of this. They're the make the answer right for you, but just be honest with the answer. So I need to get frozen yogurt for my. I think that's a stretch, but taking a walk during lunch break, not so much. So good question. All right, here we go. Last segment. Let's have a good one. All right, welcome back to the Savvy Show. David Wilson, the Business Savage. No nonsense. Market domination here on IBGR.Network. Profit Radio by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. Yes. Season 5, the future of business savagery. ReImagine You. We are finishing up ReImagining You. Talking about savagely obsessed with productivity. We had a good discussion over the break with the live folks, the video folks, and they were talking about, the question came in, is walking on a lunch break fall into Quadrant 4? And before we left, I mentioned, some of these are obvious, some of them are not. You can certainly make the argument that walking during your lunch break or at any time during the day is Quadrant 4. You can make that argument. You can also make that argument that it's Quadrant 2. Okay, it's not urgent, but it's important, because it's important to keep your sanity. It's important to stay healthy, and it's important to be your best during the day. For some of us, it might be Quadrant 1. So let's say your doctor just told you, hey, if you don't do this every day, you're going to die. Now it's Quadrant 1. So now that meeting is less important than taking that 20-minute walk every 2 hours, like your doctor told you. See what I mean? So the key is to put it into a personal context and be honest with that context and stick to it. So if it's your Quadrant 2, keep it in Quadrant 2. If it's your Quadrant 1, keep it in Quadrant 1. If it's 4, make it 4. But be consistent. Be consistent. That's what I say to my BNI membership committees all the time. There's wiggle room here, but be consistent. Be consistent. The stuff that we do that is the greatest and best use of our time, that stuff in Quadrant 2, you'll often hear me refer to that stuff as your push-ups. So the push-ups are the things you do in between major events, in between revenue generating events. So could be prospecting, sales calls, LinkedIn research, follow through, touching back, getting back in touch with former clients. The system of doing that. These are your push-ups. And as I always say, push-ups don't do themselves. So we have to, once we identify them, we have to actually do them. Right? And getting into productivity. So we started was figuring out where the majority of our time is spent and truthfully evaluating that. Next, now that we see where our time is being spent, we need to reimagine the value of our time. How much is an hour of our time worth? Right? Now that we've done that, we need to focus on what things should we be doing, should we only be doing to get to squeeze every dollar out of that hour. that we're worth, and what can we get rid of that is just sucking our time. And then finally, how to do that. So how to perform in Quadrant Two. And I was introduced, I didn't come up with this. I was, no, I know, yeah. I wasn't exactly that shocked when I didn't come up with it, but when I was very impressed when it was introduced to me. And it's something called single handling of tasks. And that has definitely changed my life. Definitely changed my life. And it's simple to implement into anyone's day. It's very and it's very effective, and it makes me very productive. And here's the components to single handling tasks. If you're interested, so you'll see this episode will be, as I said, available on podcast.co or wherever you get your podcasts in a podcast form. This video, the video form of this will possibly be available on YouTube at some point. But I do have a video there now that's called Single Handling Tasks that you can use as a reference to this show and to this segment. Here's how it works. So you're doing one thing for a period of time. So single handle your task A is, let's say I'm making sales calls. So I'm making sales calls from a list. I am going to set my timer for an hour, and I'm going to start making sales calls. Okay, I'm going to start making sales calls. I'm going to be efficient. I'm going to be consistent. When that hour is up, I'm done. Now, it can be an hour. It can be 2 hours. It can be 30 minutes. It can be 15 minutes. It depends on the task. It depends on how much time you have. It depends maybe even on your endurance. So maybe for some reason you can't sit down for an hour. So make it 45 minutes, make it 30 minutes, and then get up and walk around and take that walk. So whatever it is you need to be doing, do it for an hour. Now here's the twist, right? The beauty of this. Once that hour is up and that timer goes off, you have 2 options. Number 1 option is you already have given yourself permission to be done. Okay? So you're finished. After an hour, you're finished. You can choose to be finished. Or, depending on how now you can say, you know what, I feel really good about this. I want to keep going. If that's your choice, though, single handle another task with a different, with a fresh timer, right? So that's going to be the key to making that work. So now you say, okay, I'm going to keep making sales calls for another hour. Once you commit to that other hour, you have to do the same thing. That's the commitment you're making to yourself, right? That's the commitment you're making. It doesn't have to be an hour. It can be a half hour. It can be 20 minutes. Let's say your first hour finished you up at 3:15. Or let's say 3:40. Your first hour ended you at 3:40. So now you look at the clock and you say, okay, well, let me just squeeze out another 20 minutes. So set your timer for 20 minutes, commit to the 20 minutes. And when the alarm goes off at 4, you're done again. Make sense? So that's real easy to implement. So that's A. So here is B. Instead of doing it for a specific amount of time, you can single handle for a certain number. So instead of I'm going to make sales calls for an hour, I'm going to make 10 sales calls. In this case, same thing. When you're done, when you finish making your 10 sales calls, you're done. You have permission. You have given yourself permission to stop, to be done. Yes. Then you can stop or do a number more. So same thing applies here. So you can do 10 more. Commit to doing 10 more. You can commit to doing 5 more. You can commit to doing 1 more. Sometimes that last one, that last one is where the money is. And you just do it. Commit to that 1 more, and you're finished again. But now you plug this into the new system you have with the quadrants. And I think it takes a little bit of time to master that information. But once you do, and you're making it work for your business, then guess what? Now you keep doing it. You do it over and over and over and over and over. And every single day, what does it become? It becomes a habit. It becomes a habit. And when it becomes a habit and you integrate it into your business life, it's going to start bleeding into your personal life. It's going to start bleeding into your relationships. It's going to start bleeding into every facet of your life. So it's going to make you bring you closer to being the best version of yourself. Simple, single-handling tasks. Well, sadly, we are just about at the end. So thank you for being here with me on the SAVVEE Show, No Nonsense Market Domination. I am David Wilson, the Business Savage. Thank you so much. We will be back here next week, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Same time, same station. So thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Have a marvelous day. All right, that's a wrap. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate the questions, appreciate the feedback. Let me get out of here. And we are done. So that went off pretty well. We lost communication for a second. I don't know what that was, but we are good now. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to scoop. Appreciate you joining. And we will see you back here next week for the SAVVEE Show, No Nonsense Market Domination. Again, I'm David Wilson, the Business Savage. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time.